Story 1. Do not be afraid to make changes. A lot of people in their 20s feel pressure to settle. I changed careers many times and went to school at 44. Do not settle and be one of these people in their 40s who are miserable. Story 2. We spend all our young lives worried about what other people think, only to learn that, first, everyone is way too preoccupied with their own life to give two concerns about yours, and second, who gives a fig what other people think. When we're young, we try to fit in this box all for the sake of other people. Just stop that. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Story 3. Start saving money right now. I don't care if it's $25 a week. Start doing it now. Get a Roth individual retirement account or work your 401k. Whatever it is, put it where it can grow. Do it now. I'm in my mid-40s and I'm too late. Story 4. Invest 10% of your income every month in an index fund like Vanguard's Life Strategy Fund. Also, lift weights, go for a run, and eat clean. Your health is the best investment you will ever make. Story 5. Take care of your teeth. Pay off high-interest credit cards. Stay away from payday loans. If you must have a car, get one that's cheap and reliable. Stay away from fast food. Even if you don't have time to exercise, a good diet is a huge portion of a healthy life. Make a budget and keep track of your spending. Don't be afraid to drop everything and move. If you have an opportunity to take a job in Texas, for example, and you live in a place where there are no job opportunities, don't be afraid to get out. The worst case scenario, you come crawling back. You'll live. Finally, find a hobby that you can take with you. Don't care if it is fantasy football, karate, or online Dungeons and Dragons. Find a portable hobby that you can afford and that you enjoy. In my mid-20s, I had less than $1,000 in my checking and savings. I lived by a budget for 5 years, tracking every dollar I spent. I moved several times following job opportunities. Not all of them worked out. These tips helped me through a lot of tough times. Story 6. I am a 44-year-old man here. The best thing I've learned is to avoid the "I'll be happy when" syndrome. I promise that graduating college, getting a girlfriend, getting a job, paying off debt, buying a car, getting married, etc. are important goals, but none of those will drastically change your happiness level. Learn and work toward contentedness in your life and be satisfied with who you are, what you have, and about your current situation. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sometimes it's astroturf or spray painted instead. Story 7. Start investing into a 401k. I have too many friends who didn't do this when they were young and now are behind their retirement goals. What helped me is automating my finances. I have some routed to savings, some to a brokerage account, some to 401k or Roth IRA. It can be overwhelming, and I know at that age a lot of people don't have the extra money, but every dollar counts, even if it's a small contribution. Story 8. Focus on yourself first and foremost. I spent my 20s chasing women, thinking I needed that to be happy. I stopped doing that and focused on my career and hobbies. Now I'm in my 40s. I have a wonderful wife, kids, and a home, and I couldn't be any happier. Story 9. If you don't like how the table is set, turn over the table. At 23, I was miserable in my first real-world corporate job, while my 5-year college relationship sat in meandering purgatory. In response to this dissatisfaction, I left the job, ended the relationship, and moved abroad. I returned home at 30 after 6 years of adventure, married and focused. At 41, I've had all the experiences my 21-year-old self aspired to and then some. Don't be afraid to turn life upside down, because with each passing year, the window of opportunity to do so grows smaller and more complex. Story 10. Find some type of physical activity that you enjoy and turn it into a habit that will be good for cardiovascular health. Walking, hiking, swimming, biking, and more. Do it daily and keep doing it. Your 50-year-old self will thank you. Story 11. Don't fall for the trap that your life needs to be one long narrative that you should be building. Life is best when it's a bunch of happy moments that just happen to be connected. Don't try to make your life into a novel. Make it a book of poems. Story 12. Invest in that 401k. Also, you're still growing, not physically. I know you think you've all grown up and this is who you are for the rest of your life. but you're metaphorically a kid. Enjoy it and use it as motivation to learn, grow, and adapt. Too many don't realize that significant emotional and mental growth happens in their 20s. They don't bother to grow and they're perpetually immature their whole life. Story 13. I will probably get downvoted to the depths, but for me, not having kids is the reason. Not having kids has kept me sane. There are no late-night incidents of vomiting or screaming, no tantrums, the ability to move freely with housing or take a trip. There is the ability to save towards retirement. Kid-free life, my friends. It is great. Story 14. I've repeatedly told my kids, who are now in their 20s, this phrase from the popular Eagles song, "Take it easy." There's a line in the song that sings, "Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy." I've always understood that line to say, be patient, enjoy the ride, and make the most of every street life takes you down. I noticed this when I was a young kid, strangely enough. It seemed when my friends were 8 years old, they couldn't wait to be 10. When we were 10, we couldn't wait to be 13. When we were 13, we couldn't wait to be 16, then 18, then 21. It was always something. It noticed everyone always focusing and looking forward to the future, for a plethora of legitimate reasons, and I understood why. But even at a young age, I felt like, hey, let's enjoy now. My philosophy in life is to accept the fact that you can't control many aspects of your life, that there's a difference between planning and preparing your future, and to focus on the things you have just as much as the things you don't have. Story 15. The bigger the person you become, the bigger the people you will have around you. Have interests and be interested in other people. Ask questions. Don't act overconfident. Travel, read, become cultured by learning how other people and cultures live. Learn a foreign language. Learn how to write well. Use your freedom while you have it to grow in experiences. Start a brokerage account at Fidelity or Vanguard. Even small contributions will really add up over time with compound interest. Learn what opportunity cost really means and apply it daily. That $7 coffee is much more expensive than you think. Story 16. If you ever are bored, remember there are endless fascinating things in the world and interesting rabbit holes you can dive into. It's never too late to start a new hobby, obsession, or to learn new things. There's just so much cool stuff to do. Just pick anything and try. Story 17. Believe the common things that are advised every day. Life Pro Tips is a great resource, but use discernment. One thing may work for one person, but not for everyone. Take care of your physical and mental health. Don't overindulge, eat healthily, exercise, go to the dentist, etc. Live within your means. If you go into debt, it should be for a home or necessary transportation. If you have credit cards, pay them off, preferably the total amount every month. Appreciate your true friends and family. Embrace humility. Understand the importance of love. Take time to understand the power of forgiveness. It doesn't mean that you allow yourself to be hurt or used. It also doesn't mean that you allow toxicity in your life. It allows you the freedom to live your life without someone holding you down. They are not living rent-free in your psyche. It eliminates worry and stress. Story 18. Start saving money right now. I don't care if it's $25 a week. Start doing it now. Get a Roth individual retirement account or work your 401k. Whatever it is, put it where it can grow. Do it now. I'm in my mid-40s and I'm too late. Story 19. Don't skip every weekend trying to better yourself. Enjoy life at every moment. I missed out on many weekends thinking, I'm bettering myself, and still ended up half broke and missed out on a lot. Story 20. Be introspective. You need to constantly analyze yourself and who you are if you ever want to make any improvements. The best way to do this is through therapy. I know access is an issue and not affordable for everyone, but if you're able to, you should. Don't place it over food or shelter, obviously, but if you can invest in yourself this way, it will pay off dividends for your mental and emotional health and should inspire you to grow as a person. Story 21. It is never too late to start pursuing something you are interested in. I remember being 25 and thinking if I had started writing when I was 15, I probably would have been pretty good at it by then. A second later, it occurred to me I was probably going to have the same thought at 35. Now is always the best time to invest in yourself. Your future self will be a better person because of what you do for them today. Story 22. If you get married, make sure you are marrying the right person. Marry someone who makes you better and you enjoy spending time with. The only way to build a life you don't want to escape from is to do it with a great partner. Stop worrying about what others think of you. You only get one life depending on what you believe, so do what makes you happy. There is a saying that you can't make old friends. As we get older and busier with kids and work, it's easy to lose touch with the people who knew you when. Try to keep those relationships as they connect you to your past. Story 23. Look after your back and your posture. Don't be hunched over your phone all the time. Learn to cook meals if you don't know already, although you should. Start saving for a deposit on a home. You won't be able to afford to still be renting when you retire, unless you already earn enough to buy a home outright. If you smoke or vape, quit now. Story 24. Enjoy the little things because the little things will mean the most someday. Don't take life for granted. Take care of yourself and make sure that you live life to the fullest. And when you're 40, try not to have any regrets because they will eat you alive. Spend the most time you can with your loved ones because that is one of my regrets. I focused so much of my life on the big things and forgot the little things, and now they're gone, and I let life get away from me. Story 25. Try to find a job that fulfills you. I won't say that it makes you happy, but one that you wake up happy to go to. Try to learn different skills so that if or when you start hating your career, you can change it. Save money every month, even if it's $10, euros, or pounds. It'll count in 20 years. Story 26. When it comes to general success in life, the advice I always give is to have a plan. This applies to everything. Things rarely go that well when you're winging it, so why would you want to wing life? Figure out what you want to do. Set the goals you need to get you there. Work towards those goals, track your progress, and reevaluate as you go along. Again, this applies to everything: your career, finances, fitness, etc. When it comes to happiness, I would advise you to understand that you're responsible for your own happiness. This is easier said than done. It's much easier to blame other people and wallow in self-misery. Truly happy people take responsibility for their happiness, and this includes addressing their own shortcomings. Story 27. You have to be intentional about where you want your life to go. That applies to many aspects of life. For finances, you need to work towards improving your situation. An extra $100 a month makes a huge difference between slowly accumulating wealth versus accumulating debt. It might not seem like much, but a decade later, that's the difference between having $20,000 in savings versus being $20,000 in debt and having to dig yourself out. When it comes to friendships, it's also the same. Some people are good people and will build you up, be there for you, and make you a better person. Other people may be fun to be around now, but are people that drag you down in the long run. Statistically speaking, surrounding yourself with successful people tends to lead to a more successful life. If most of your friends are coasters without ambition, you may likely fall into the same trap. Career-wise, it's also a game. Be intentional about where you take jobs, don't get pigeonholed, and fall behind. Don't be afraid to quit and go elsewhere to get ahead, but balance it with recognizing when it's worth staying to move forward within. Part of job changes is also not just about the money. It's about skill sets and steering your path. Some jobs are worth it to get in the door and build some skills, while other pivots are worth it to shift to an industry that will be more in demand long term. Also, family is important, and most people will look back and wish they had carved out more time to be closer to their families. Story 28. You know all of the hygiene practices they talked about in health class? Do them. Wild parties are fun, but limit them to just a few times per year. My friends who partied hard through their 20s are really hurting now, or dead. There's a stock market lesson you should look up. I forget the details. Something like if an 18-year-old invests $1,000 in a whole stock market fund per year for just a few years, maybe 7, they'll have $1 million at age 65. Catch up to what you should have if you started at 18. Story 29. If you're not happy with your job, change it. Do not wait for your 401k match to vest or until you have a certain number of years of experience. Just go. Do not necessarily quit on the spot. Go seriously shopping for another job or career right now. Story 30. Keep your friend circle small and tight. Go out of your way to make plans and be around people you like, and hang on to those relationships as long as you can. The older you get, the easier it is to find yourself lonely and hard to find good, true friends. Story 31. Go to the gym. Think about what you're eating. Don't care what others think of you. Be resilient. Be kind. If you have a partner, communicate both good and bad, needs, wants, etc. Have a pet, preferably a dog. When all is done for the day, disconnect with some gaming. Sleep at least 6 to 7 hours a night. Strong body, strong mind, kind heart.